The Origin Story of Ordwi of Osprey Cove. Chapter 1. The Girl Who Would Not Bend. When Ordwi was only 9 winters old, Osprey was struck by one of the harshest winter storms in decades. Sailors later swore the wind screamed like a young dying dragon, and the waves tried to climb onto the land. Most of the town huddled indoors, but young Ordwi, small, stubborn, red-cheeked and endlessly curious, noticed something wrong. Old Marthin's fishing skiff had broken loose from its moorings and was drifting out onto the bay. Marthin himself, half blind, half deaf, hadn't even realized. While adults were busy boarding windows and lashing doors, Ordwi grabbed the rope, tied it round her waist, and waded into the furious surf. Each wave shoved her back, and more than once she vanished beneath the white spray, but she refused to yield. Inch by inch, she reached the skiff and looped the rope around the bow post. The tide nearly swept her away, dragging her sideways like a hooked fish, but she dug her heels into the sand and pulled as though the whole town depended on her. Later, the adults found her collapsed on the shore, soaked to the bone, hands raw, but the skiff safe and Marthin's livelihood preserved. From that day on, Osprey whispered the same thing about her. That girl does not break. Chapter 2. The Teenager Who Found Freedom. When Ordwi reached her teenage years, she was already known for her grit, but not yet for her joy. She worked constantly, helped everyone she could, and laughed too rarely. Duty mattered to her, but she bore it like a weight. Then it came to the Festival of Tides, the annual celebration marking the end of the storm season. A band of traveling performers visited Osprey Cove that year, bringing music, feats of daring, and most notably, a charismatic Canaanite priest named Vero Fullsails. Vero saw Ordwi watching the festival from a distance, arms crossed as though afraid that fun was something she might break by touching it. With a grin, he pulled her into a blindfolded drinking contest, blessed by Caden Callion himself. She tried to refuse and failed spectacularly as the crowd cheered her name. Ordwi lost the contest badly, but she discovered something far more important than victory. She discovered freedom. The freedom of laughing until your ribs hurt. The freedom of letting go of fear and perfection. The freedom of choosing joy even when life was harsh. Vera, sensing the ember of something deeper. Caden's not the god of drunken foolishness, girl. He's a god of choosing your own path and fighting for it. He's a god for those who refuse chains, even the ones they forge themselves. Ordwi listened. For the first time, she heard a truth that resonated with her storm-forged spirit. Strength was good. Courage was better. But freedom was sacred. By the end of the festival, her first true toast made with laughter and conviction, she pledged herself to Caden Callion as a cleric that would stand for bravery, good ale, and the right for every soul to walk their own road. Ordwi and the Iron Harbor Accord. The wind carried the scent of metal and smoke long before Iron Harbor appeared on the horizon. Its forges never rested, hardened by industry, rivalry, and the unshakable pride of its people. Ordwi marched at the head of Osprey Cove's delegation, boots crunching on the dark gravel road, her cloak fluttering in the brisk coastal wind. Beside her, Councillor Rima whispered nervously, "Ordwi, are we certain this is wise? Ner Rengolf isn't exactly known for diplomacy." Ordwi grinned. "Neither am I, but at least he respects a straight answer." The delegation reached the heavy iron banded gates, which opened with a resonant clank. Inside Ner Rengolf, a mountain of a dwarf with a beard that looked like it had been braided by someone in a hurry to get back to fighting. His armor was scarred, his grin feral, and his eyes sharp with curiosity. "Ordwi of Osprey Cove," Nar boomed. "I expected more guards, or fewer. Hard to guess with Canaanites." Ordwi bowed her head, slightly, not submissive, but respectful. "And I expected you to greet us with an axe in hand." Nar barked out a laugh. "It's strapped to my back. Didn't you wish to seem rude?" The tension broke immediately. Inside the wall, Iron Harbor's War Hall was exactly what its name promised. Long tables, weapon racks, thick beams, banners bearing Gorham's clenched fist symbol, and a scent of sweat and steel that could knock flat anyone unaccustomed. Ordwi felt strangely at home. Negotiations began with usual civilities. Nur found those boring, so they didn't last long. "What you want," he said, leaning forward with his elbows, "is safer waters and a shared warning system if those slavers return." "What you want," Ordri replied, "is access to Osprey's Cove's fishing routes and the right to escort ships through our channel." Nar snorted. "I want a good fight, but trade rights will do until something tries to kill me." Talk shifted slowly from logistics to principle. "You follow Caden Callion," Nar said, swirling a cup of something strong and smelling faintly of molten iron. "A god who stumbled into divinity, drunk. I never understood that." Ordwi raised her own cup. "Wine, rich and simple. He didn't stumble, he dared, and he succeeded because bravery often looks foolish at first." Nar's eyes gleamed. "Bravery? No, battle is truth. Blood is truth. Gorham teaches strength." "Strength alone isn't freedom," Ordwi said softly but firmly. "And without freedom, why fight?" There was a long pause, then a slow, grudging grin spread across Nur's face. "You argue like a warrior." "You listen like one," she countered. But Iron Harbor's customs demanded one more thing: mutual testing. Nar stood abruptly. "Before I sign any pact, I need to know the measure of the one standing behind it." Ordwi stood too. "Name your test." Nar pointed to the round arena ringed by cheering onlookers, a pit not for duels to the death, but for contests meant to reveal character. "Shield match," he said. "No weapons. The first to touch the ground loses." Ordwi's smile turned wolfish. "So freedom meets fury." The match was short, fierce, and glorious. Nur fought like a hammer-seeking anvil. Ordwi fought like a storm, greeted with laughter, shifting, bracing, redirecting force rather than opposing it. When he charged, she pivoted. When he pressed forward, she flowed aside. Finally, she hooked his leg with her shield edge as he barreled past and sent the giant of a dwarf sprawling onto his back. The war hall erupted into cheers. Nar lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling beams, then laughed so hard his armor rattled. "Caden's keg," he roared. "You're stronger than you look." Ordwi offered him a hand. "And you fall harder than you brag." An hour later, they sealed their pact over tankards. His full spiked iron ale, hers warm with honey and wine. Joint patrols along the shared coast, mutual warnings of threats, trade concessions without benefit both towns, an annual festival altering between the two to honor both Caden and Gore. Nar raised his tankard high. "To battles worth fighting for," Ordwi clanked hers against it. "To freedoms worth protecting." And so, Iron Harbor and Osprey Cove, long uneasy neighbors, became something stronger than rivals. Ordwi and Nur became something more. Allies by challenge, partners by pragmatism, and friends by fire and ale. Sometime later, Valent stood above her. "You will talk. Mortimer needs information. Time grows short. You're going to be sacrificed if you don't cooperate. Tell us. This ends now." Ordwi tried to stand, but her legs gave out. She made it to her knees, defiant, unbowed, before Valent swung the staff one last time. Darkness swallowed her, silent and heavy. But even in unconscious, Ordwi's expression remained the same it had been the entire time, unbroken. She had not given up any information. She may have fallen, but she did not break. Her body may lay in ruin, unconscious, and waiting to be sacrificed, but she held true. Freedom in her mind, if not in her body.